Okay, so a few years ago, while I was still in school, a friend of mine pitched me a prompt that genuinely started my entire gaming development interest. And my good friend and former roommate Bakari, I pledged this video to him because it's literally his idea. And I told him that if I ever make it big, I'm sick, and especially off of this idea, taking him to E3. Essentially, the prompt was Ostrich Wars. Now, hear me out.
Okay, so at the time, there was no way I was going to be able to make that work, right? Like, long story short, I was an okay coder with, terrible playing skills. So, after a couple months of fiddling around, I kind of just gave up. Not to mention, things like character design, basic animation principles, balancing, 2D and 3D, anything, were completely out of my understanding. But by now, I've got 10 jams under my belt. Oh, and as a side note, I just want to let you guys know early on, this video is mostly about planning. So we'll start by doing specific stuff in the next video. So if you want to start playing a game with me in Notion, I can show you at least what I want to do, right? And if you have any suggestions, just let me know. So, before we do that, leave a comment, Ostrich Wars, so I know you're a real, real G. Alright, so what are we making? Okay, so it's been a couple days. As you can tell, I changed my shirt. I shaved. Probably shouldn't have shaved, but it's been done now. So, it has been a couple days, and had a little thought about what I'm going to make and why, right? So, what I've decided is that I'm going to admit something that I think is not a very popular opinion, at least on the internet, and it's that I like gacha games. I actually enjoy it, and not and kind of in a gambling way, kind of not. I liked things like card games since I was a kid, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and then of course I moved into MMOs, Korean MMOs, when I was really young because they were all free, and so I got kind of inundated in that system really early. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make an ethically monetized gacha game. We're going to try it, or at least to a sense, right? And I think what's fun about this is that we're going to be we're going to create a gacha system, right? So we're going to create we're going to create a base gameplay, and a way to collect units, and then a way to, not monetize that, at least not yet. We will work on that, but we'll figure that out in the goals in a second. But we're going to essentially create a game that has a decently fun game loop, and then worry about the monetization. Because I feel like, and this is very important, that there are ethical ways to do things like microtransactions, and there are and just because you do gacha doesn't necessarily make you immediately successful, right? Two really examples that I really thought of were Warframe and Legends of Runeterra, both games I'm a massive fan of, right? Warframe's microtransaction system is probably one of the most fair I've ever had to deal with, right? Yes, platinum is everything in that game, right? You can speed stuff up with platinum. You can buy weapons with platinum. You participate in player-to-player trade in platinum. But you can also gain platinum without actually spending any money, right? Player-to-player trade, like I said, is in platinum. But also there is an entire NPC that you can sell stuff to get platinum, to then trade it on the open market with other players. And Legends of Runeterra is well known for being almost too fair to players, right? One of the criticisms that game has gotten from, I guess, inside of League is that the game doesn't make enough money because it gives you basically everything for free, right? All of the cards are accessible basically for free, and all you'd be paying for are boards, skins, and other stuff. The game is super fun, and I get mad at it sometimes, but it's still a great game. So what we're going to try to do is a game kind of like, I don't know if you've played things like Dislight, or that game that everyone talks about and is one of the most popular games of all time. Yeah, we're going to make a game kind of like that, We'll try to implement things like autoplay and like hopefully things that are more fun. I think Dislight actually, funnily enough, Dislight has a secondary game that I don't think I've ever seen anyone play, and they don't advertise whatsoever. That's basically like a DJ, like a DJ Hero, that I don't think I've ever seen that advertised in any of their advertisements. The only advertisement they ever show is you can get a new hero if you just pay us money, and not we create an entire side game from your childhood that you can play mobilely. That's free with the game we've already made. And that's kind of sad, right? So we'll get onto that, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So I know it sounds like I put this in step 1, but this is a bit more complicated, right? This is more about how many characters and models, environments, music, and other stuff. So we're just going to fast forward through this. But what's important to note is that for this stuff in particular, what I was doing is that I took some of the stuff from the original small design doc I made, and I'm basically turning them into tasks, right? That's all this is. And these are the overarching tasks, not anything specific yet. Notice I said yet. Okay, so we have to give ourselves a main due date, and then a smaller due dates, so that we can actually actively motivate ourselves to finish a lot of the tasks that we're trying to complete. The due date for this is going to be completely arbitrary, so let's just say December, right? I know it seems like it's a really far time away, but it goes with another promise I made to myself, so let's just say we can't really work on it forever. And then we're going to try to set all our other dates accordingly in another montage. So what's kind of funny is that we're doing this in, different parts, because sometimes you gotta adjust times, right? Sometimes you do the initial time and then you realize in the future, hey, this is gonna take a little bit longer or shorter than I thought, so I'm gonna go ahead and readjust it, and that's totally okay. It's our personal project after all. Okay, so we have our tasks, we have our due date, but our goals aren't quite actionable yet. So prepare for another montage of us making our goals a little smaller so that we can actually make them SMART goals. And if you don't know what a SMART goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, right? So we've already made the time-bound part, and everything here is already kind of relevant. And I'd like to think that this is achievable. So we're really just kind of putting it down to specific things that are measurable, right? We're getting the SMA part of the SMART. So, yeah. So yeah, okay, so you guys know me. I'm like a Unity nut, right? Even before the controversy. And I'll probably continue using Unity for a little while and maybe learn Godot in the background. But until I feel confident in Godot, I'll be doing this in Unity. But this is kind of the stage where you would decide things like, what engine and language you want to use, the packages you'll need, any kind of external things you need to use or utilize, and basically the general design principles you want to adhere to, right? Because up until now, our design document has been mostly geared towards when and not how. This is the how part, right? How are we going to do the thing that we want to do? Not what or when, okay? Alright. You've already seen me using Notion. That would be another part, actually, is how you want to take notes and how you want to keep your notes and how you want to lay out this design document. Because at the end of the day, I'm a solo dev, so this has to be important for just me to read. But realistically speaking, you have to know what's best for you or your team or the people you're contracting or the people that you want to send it off to, right? Notion might be great for me, and so you may give me a Notion doc or something like that. But your friend, he may want a Google Doc, or he'll want folders of examples and stuff. So you gotta have to kind of know your audience and that kind of thing.
Okay, so kind of crossroads. Also, thank you for watching this far. Really appreciate it. At the moment, kind of crossroads because I promised myself I would release 2 games this year, right? Did the first one. It's not good, particularly great, but it does fill my portfolio a little bit. I did do some things interesting that I haven't done before. But I'm torn between this game and another game. And if I do this, I can't focus on that. If I do that, I can't really focus on this. I don't know if I could do them in the background. So I'm going to try to do a video of the other project idea, see how you guys think about it. I know 3 of you are, probably not even that, are going to watch this video. But if you do, you watch this part, I'd really appreciate just to know, what video or what game would you prefer, this one or Droplet one, which I'll show you guys in a couple weeks or so. Right? But yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to end this episode of my dev diary, dev blog, or whatever. If you guys want to follow this project or any of my other projects, please do not forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. You don't have to, obviously. I'm not trying to make it bigger or anything. It's more for me than anyone else. But of course, all support is appreciated. But yeah, no, thanks, and peace.